welcome back to our channel, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well. So today is Friday the 22nd of August and we are just getting ready to head to France for the weekend because Jack is doing 2 days of racing in France. It's quite a high level race, I think, pretty much, is what he's told me, but I'll get him to fill you in on the details a little bit later. I just thought that I would quickly show you what we are packing for the weekend, just in case anybody cares. So, sorry, I just ran down the stairs, I'm so out of breath. So I've got here our little bottle carrier thing, and I've just filled all of these with water, because when we went to Belgium, we didn't fill them with anything. Yeah. Sorry, I just have to give Jack the shed key. Yeah, so when we went to Belgium, we didn't fill these with water, and we only took 2 big bottles of water, and these basically filled up from our spare water. So we decided this time we would just fill all of these with water, and then Jack can obviously add the carb powder accordingly. But then I've also got spare water, so we've got 6 of these. I'm just trying to find out from Jack if he wants these with water as well, or if he just wants those to be spare. Got the small cool box for today's food to take on the boat, because we have got a 1:45 crossing or something like that. However, may not need it, may actually end up eating before we get on the boat, but it's better to be safe than sorry. We've got our fruit in here, so we've just got oranges and apples for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've got our bananas, Dr. Peppers, because Jack likes to have a bit of a sugar hit after the races. He's got his ketone shots because he likes to do that before and after. In there is some banana and chocolate chip loaf that I made yesterday. It's a little bit dry, to be honest, but hey ho. Got 4 big bottles of water, some squash, then in here just a few snacks. So he's got carb powder, we've got a tea coffee sachet thing like underneath that we usually take with us, our washing up stuff. This time I've put some kitchen roll in there to do a little bit of drying up. Oh, nearly just dropped the camera. Street waffles. Did you want both boxes of street waffles taken?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and then I just started lobbing the crisps for myself. And then Jack has just loaded up what he needs nutrition wise.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got all of our food in the fridge. Tell me you're into fitness without telling me you're into fitness. So we're just going to have breakfast, I think Jack just said now,
yeah,
and finish loading up.
And then...
Yeah. Hello everybody. We are now at Dover Port and we had a little bit of a stressful morning, to be honest. Let me see if I can put you up there. That would be best. Yes, lovely. So we packed up the truck and everything, and literally 5 minutes after we left we realised that we forgot our camping chairs, which is really annoying because
a real rookie error, that.
I like to obviously have somewhere to sit while Jack's doing the race. So luckily my mum's got the day off today, so I phoned her and was like, Mum, what are your plans? Can you please meet us on the journey somewhere with your camping chairs? So she did that. Swift operation.
Yeah,
we thought we were going to be late, didn't we? Because we actually mapped to the check-in rather than like the general area. So we were panicking that we were going to delay the rest of the team, but actually they were also delayed. And we ended up being first here because we were actually quicker than we thought. So, crisis averted. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, obviously I think overall, yeah, I just had a cheeky coffee. Corinne's got a cherry coke. I've got a cherry coke maybe for later. Yeah, we've actually, I think, packed really well this time, other than forgetting the chairs. Obviously with the new bike rack set up on the back, we've managed to bring both my bikes and Corinne's bike, which works perfectly because it's a stack in line. By missing the first bike part, we can still get in the back, because my worry is the only annoying thing if we ever took 4 bikes, if they wanted to see in the back of the truck, I've basically got to take a bike off to the.
Do you think it'd still be like that though with my bike at the front because it's lower?
I think it doesn't matter. I think it's just. I think
because obviously at the port they like to look in the back.
It's because they're drop bar. Obviously, I think generally if you're buying a 200 quid wrap from Halfords, it's probably because you're going on holiday with your family, not having 4 drop bar race bikes, which obviously makes it a bit wider. But anyway, all is good. We're here. I think we've packed well, other than forgetting the chairs. It's nice not having to take my tools out. I just think, like I said to Corinne, it's so easy to kind of think you've got a lot of time in life in general, but I think things just take longer than you think. Maybe that's just because we're old and boring. Most people would just
I think we obviously make it hard for ourselves because we want to take everything, you know, like food, this, that, the other, because we want to keep it as low cost as possible the other end. we almost make it more difficult for ourselves. Hold that. Sorry, yes, so I think we make it more difficult for ourselves, where most people would just be like, do you know what, we're racing abroad, we've got to spend a bit of money, go do a food shop. We have got the facility to take the cool box, we've got the space in the truck to allow to take all this stuff, so it's almost to our detriment, because we have to remember so much stuff.
I think as well, for me, I'm very lucky to obviously have the support of, you know, my sponsor from car racing, and obviously our, you know, work partnership with Yes Electrical. Just dropping sponsors in there for all,
not a paid ad,
for all 30 people that are going to see this video. But it's like, I obviously get my sponsorship money, so I'm happy to spend when I need to spend it or want to spend it on something that for me is going to be beneficial. As in, for me, traveling at my own pace in my vehicle, knowing I've got everything, means I'm less stressed. So for me, spending the extra money to have that facility on travel, but then knowing I'm going to save money and all of that on the food. We've literally got
dinner, haven't we?
Also, I kind of said this in Belgium last time, and I've said this all along. For me, it's not just bike racing and results. I actually love all the preparation, the training. It's more than just
going a bit incognito here.
To me, it's more than just, oh, going bike racing. To me, I love the training, I love the preparation, I like thinking about the nutrition. Yes, there's obviously maybe some work that I need to do on, you know, nailing things down 100%, but overall, I really, really enjoy all of the stuff that goes alongside it. So, yeah, to me, if I was just to lash the bike in or lob the bike on the roof and jump in with someone else, you then potentially lose that ability to do all the prep, which I really enjoy. Call me sad. But it's, it's part of it for me.
Yeah. So we're literally just waiting to check in now. Ferry is at 1:45, is it?
A couple of hours over to Calais.
Don't really know what the plan is, do we? But you'll probably have a shakeout ride today, so I'm probably going to go for a run. And then we'll obviously head for dinner at some point this evening. That's basically it. So we'll check in with you guys in a bit.
Faustier, qui avait été lauréat du Grand Prix d'Amiens et notamment de nombreux top 10 sur les routes de la Belgique. Allez, je crois qu'on va les applaudir de nouveau, s'il vous plaît. On va leur souhaiter bonne chance et bonne course donc au départ de cette nouvelle édition de ce Grand Prix des Marandis. Allez, on va prendre la direction maintenant donc du Royaume-Uni, mesdames et messieurs, si vous le voulez. On va retrouver en tous les cas l'équipe représentée avec celui qui avait terminé 10e et 13e du côté de la route des Halles. Dans le top 19 également de la classique Région Sud, nous accueillons sur le podium Alex Murphy, portera notamment le dossard 94. Dans l'équipe, on retrouve également le Britannique Jack Bartholomew. On retrouvera également Rosa Bassett, le porteur du 96. Dans l'équipe également, nous retrouvons avec le 97. Et il y a là, c'est Daniel Piercy. Et elle complétera donc le collectif avec celui qui avait réalisé de belles performances du côté du championnat de la Grande-Bretagne dans le contre-la-montre élite. Nous retrouvons tous les cas de côté Med Godwin. Allez, je crois qu'on va les applaudir, l'équipe Stolen Gold Race. Et nous avons le plaisir.
Well, hopefully they don't stop. Just eating our breakfast. Went to Lidl and got a pan of chocolate, and I have my actual breakfast in a bit. And we'll give you an update in the car soon.
Voilà également donc l'équipe qui est en train de nous rejoindre. Voilà l'équipe anglaise Stolen Gold Race que nous accueillons. Bonjour messieurs et bienvenue donc du côté de Baveux avec Alexander Murphy. Et également que nous retrouvons le porteur du dossard 179 à ma droite qui avait terminé dans le top 15. Du côté du Grand Prix d'Amiens, on va retrouver également le 180 avec Jack Bartholomew. On retrouvera le 181 avec Ross Facette. Et nous allons retrouver du côté du championnat de la région Grande-Bretagne. On retrouve également Daniel Piercy, le 182, 183 avec Ben Goodwin. Et il s'était classé pour vous appeler dans le top 16 du côté du championnat de Grande-Bretagne contre la général, le peloton groupé, allez, faites un peu les mains et j'applaudis le peloton groupé, le 15 premier rapide, à l'arrivée de sprint de la victoire, millimétré, le score va finir, on va attendre évidemment, donc, eh bien,
Hello everyone, it is Bank Holiday Monday, it is very warm, so we thought we would, instead of going to buy a ridiculously priced Magnum or other brand of ice cream, we are going to make some frozen Greek yogurt ice cream.
Also, because it's Bank Holiday Monday, it's quite late in the day, we can't be bothered to go to the shop because we got back really early this morning. So just thought whilst we're doing this, we can also give you an update on how the weekend went, because it started with every intention of filming, but it just went a little bit disastrously. Sneak peek preview. So let's just do this first,
yes,
and then we can catch them up.
Yes.
So I've literally just got these glass dishes. Like, these are from creme brulee desserts you can get from Asda, but you can get them like, are they goo?
Goo, yeah. The chocolate desserts, yeah.
So I'm just going to do 100 grams Greek yogurt. Hopefully it will fit in my little dish.
You know what you actually are? Just.
So there's that, and then I'm going to just do a little bit of vanilla extract, a little bit of honey. Jack's going to do his because I've got a full fat Greek yogurt and he does fat free because he's a weirdo. We could make a couple of these, you know, if they're nice as well. We could just make them for the week.
Yeah. Because I basically have a bit of Greek yogurt for the, well, we have a bit of Greek yogurt.
You know what we could also put in this, our chocolate, so it could be like chocolate ice cream.
And even the protein powder. I don't know how that would freeze, but...
yeah, I don't know if that'd be, well, yeah, you can try.
Endless possibilities, eh?
Yeah, so what else do we want then? Do you want to do a bit of frozen fruit?
I think let's try and get it right first.
Okay. We usually have frozen blueberries and frozen raspberries, but when I went to the shop the other day, they didn't have any frozen raspberries, so I picked up this summer fruits medley. I thought it was only one actually there, and it is just toughy. This frozen strawberries are horrible. But hey ho. So yeah, we're just gonna guess.
Yeah, and just a little splash.
You can't even see what we're doing.
Is that enough honey there? I'll get rid of that. Okay.
Probably not.
Do you want to get a spoon or? Yeah, just a little bit, and it just needs a stir, doesn't it, basically? So
Can I stir?
Yeah, go for it. So I'm going to do the same, just...
It does say that you have to sort of like stir it every so often so that it obviously freezes. But in all honesty, even if it was just cold slop, it's not the end of the world, is it? It's just... I think I'm going to melt my chocolate in that, you know? Do I actually have chocolate? Yeah.
I'm going to just roll with mine.
Or well, should I do, I might do the after 8s because they're already open.
I'm going to try and just get it right first, and then if we get the consistency right, then... Well, I'm going to put a bit of cinnamon there. Cinnamon?
I might just melt the chocolate in this one because there's no point getting a whole thing.
And probably what you should do is actually, in future, do the chocolate first, melt it, and then...
Yeah, you're right. What are you going to do about it now?
I'm going to do absolutely nothing, but otherwise you're basically...
Correct. You are correct. Now I've got to try not to burn the chocolate, otherwise that would be really horrible. Anyway, so we basically spent the day, so we got back just before 1 o'clock. Jack thought it would be a brilliant idea to unpack at 1 o'clock this morning. So we got to bed about probably 10 past 1.
I didn't know if you needed this anymore.
Well, clearly not anymore, but yeah, I did.
Oh.
It's going to stay in my room. So basically just got up this morning, I just got up with some washing, had a bit of a chill. Jack can tell you in a second how the weekend went, but he was playing around with his bike.
Yeah, well, I think really we need to start from the beginning of the dramas, and that will lead on to...
So we saw you last. We did film a clip, didn't we? I think, on the way.
I think we might have done.
Yeah, I think we started it. Basically, we're going to France. Jack had these 2 really hard races. Oh yeah, I remember. We were filming on Friday. I was showing them everything that we bought.
Yeah, so anyway, off we trotted for this double header weekend.
Late, surprise.
Yeah, late. But double header weekend in France. So it was part of the, I mean, don't quote me on this, I'm not 100% familiar with how the scene in France works, but the French elite scene, which I guess is probably the equivalent to national series over here, so like the national A events, the top level of UK events. I think it's the equivalent what we did in France. So basically all the sort of regular French, I think it's called the N1 division or whatever, so they're like French elite teams. So I guess that's 4th tier, because you obviously have in cycling, you have World Tour, Pro Conti, and then like pro teams, and then like, so I guess even our team in the UK would be classed as a 4th division, I guess. Well, obviously we're not professional. Anyway, we had these 2 really hard races. You know, had people talk about this and say, oh yeah, especially the one on Saturday, oh, it's one of the hardest races. Someone in our team spoke to someone and said, oh yeah, I did that race last year, like it's one of the hardest races he's ever done, and all this. Anyway, yeah, so it's been, without going into the details, it's been quite a tough week. Last week was quite tough. There's a few things going on in the background, which I'm just going to be honest, my mental state, I don't like to go too much into the mental health and that side of things, but my mental state wasn't very good. Bit up and down, and yeah, set off Saturday in the race. Well, it kind of started badly because it was just all a bit disorganised, getting to the place and then trying to find the feed zone and set Corinne up, you know, to be ready to give, you know, there's 5 of us bottles.
Initially I was meant to be being dropped off in the feed zone, but I was like, I don't want to be dropped off like 5 hours in advance.
But basically, yeah, because the race started at 2, she was going to potentially be dropped off like an hour before
because
that.
Because all the roads were shut.
Because the roads
so
are then closed.
You happy with that?
Yeah, the roads are then closed. Because in Belgium and France it's done properly, it's not just a rolling road closure, they literally closed the circuit, which is really cool. It's really nice to race on fully closed roads.
So basically I decided that I would make my own way to the feed zone. So I said to Jack, when he went on his little recce lap,
we just did a little ride about an hour before the start.
Can you just pin the location of the feed zone so that I know exactly where to go when it comes to maps? So he toddled, pinned the location. Then to get to the feed zone I had to leave like half an hour in advance of the race start because there would be no way I would be able to get there afterwards. So I put the little pin on Google Maps, driving along, lovely, find a little space. Jack said, oh, there's camper vans like when you get there. Like perfect, so I saw a camper van, saw a bit of a lay-by, parked up, saw like almost like a farmyard just down the road, and there was a couple of people there, so I went over to ask them whether or not I was in the right place because Jack said there was a sign. But I thought if I had like the translation for feed zone on my phone, they would know what I was on about.
Considering these races have run for like 60 or 70 years, so you imagine the locals have obviously witnessed it happen a few times. But.
Yeah, so I literally was asking these people, is this the feed zone? And they're like, I don't know what you're on about.
Je ne sais pas.
So I was like, well, that's really not very helpful. So then I walked a little bit further down the road, found these other people, they were like, I don't know, then just spoke to someone else. Anyway, found out in the end that it was a little bit further down the road. So I had to run back to the truck, move it, and everybody was just parked on the verges because they never think this through in feed zones. There's never parking, you just have to abandon your vehicle. Not practical. Anyway, got to the feed zone very stressed because obviously I had to run and the race was literally about to start. Pulled over on the left hand side into a ditch because the grass was so long I couldn't see that it basically dropped off. So then I am literally bawling my eyes out, like really scared that the truck is going to tip over. Meanwhile,
like some people would say, oh, well, you're in a four-wheel drive Hilux, you can just reverse out. It was like a very steep drop, and the truck was, I mean, I don't know if you can insert the picture.
No.
Well, better not because of the reg and everything. But anyway, it was very steep because basically I actually then saw the truck.
I was going to say that was a problem. It was in the feed zone on the side of the road.
So I've had a tough week anyway. We discussed before the race, right, don't make sure you fight for position, because basically the course was very tight and twisty, kind of downhill through this town, then uphill, very like twisty and not much room with 160 guys. If you're off the back or near the back, if you imagine the guys at the front start putting the hammer down, it just filters down. So basically, if you're at the back, you've got to be doing 200, 300, 400 watts more, and you imagine if the guys at the front, not that anyone understands cycling, if the guys at the front are sort of dropping 500-600 watts up a climb, you can't, you know, 1,000 watts is a sprint, you can't physically do enough power for long enough to stay with it, so you just get dropped off and you like can't close the gap. So we kind of had this chat before, like don't lose the wheel, don't get pushed to the back. I'm still learning bike racing and getting more aggressive, and we'll get on to Sunday where I was more aggressive, but I was kind of fairly near the back, and it was a bit of a hit. It was the hillier of the 2 days, so it wasn't as suited to a guy that's a bit bigger. And admittedly, I'm running a couple of kilos heavier than I'd like to at the moment. So basically, I was kind of on and off, dropping off the back, but still in the race. Did I think 2 or 3 laps, saw the truck in the ditch, and with everything I've had going on this week mentally, I just pulled the plug basically. I was like, you know what, I can't do this for another 120. I think we were about 30k in. I was like, I cannot do this for another 120k. So I just pulled the plug, pulled in at the feed zone to see Corinne, basically find out what had gone on, found out, helped on the bottles with the other guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
To rescue us.
Yeah, in the end, some lovely locals helped with a telehandler, pulled us out, and we were absolutely fine. The truck, not a scratch on it. The mirror got folded back round the wrong way, catching on a fence post, but
it can do.
Yeah, they can. Yeah,
like
exactly.
Older vehicles,
so it's absolutely fine. No issue with the truck. Hilux, invincible, as it says on the side. Yeah, so I just, and like I said, then there was in the neutral. So basically, in a race, you have the start, and there's the cars at the front, and there's the neutral zone, normally half a lap of said course. And this neutral zone, like neutral zones are normally quite aggressive, but this was like the fastest, most aggressive neutral zone I've ever been in. Like literally, it was like the race had already started. And because everyone, you imagine you've got 160 guys on single lane roads, trying to, if it's say 5 abreast across the road, you imagine 5, well, you can work that out, 160 divided by 5. It's a lot of rows of guys all trying to fight to go forward, but because there's 5 or 6 guys across the road, there isn't space, so you're trying to find space, make space, elbows, and it, basically there was a curve on this downhill that stuck out a bit, and then there was a crash. I was behind it, but 2 of my teammates went down, so I was like, oh my god. In all the recent races I've been in, I've literally witnessed crashes happening right in front of me, next to me, and I've managed to avoid it, and it's just like, almost, I'll get on to Sunday soon, but it's like I'm going to get caught in a crash soon, because it's just like, it seems like luck is on my side at the moment, but my luck's going to run out at some point. So all of that together, I was just like, no, forget it.
And also, I was having to feed 5 people by myself, so I was also stressed, and I feel like maybe you were a little bit stressed for me, plus the truck, plus the crash, and it all just all got
too much. And because we had the Sunday race as well, although I will be honest, I let it get on top of me mentally, and I was kind of pulled off and said to Corinne, that's it, I'm done, I'm not bike racing anymore, I've had enough, and just really kind of let everything get on top of me. But then kind of as the race went on and progressed, and then we got the truck out, I kind of, once the truck was out the ditch, it was like a big relief. And then I calmed down and was like, it's not the end of the world. Some days it's just not your day. That's the thing with like a sport that involves most sports very physically taxing, but a sport that actually revolves around your aerobic performance and your mental capabilities. With bike racing at any level, it's so hard. If you're not 90% to 100% ready, you will just be shelled out the back and your day will be over, even if you give it your best. You have to be. It's very rare you're at 100% because you've always got fatigue from training or other races or whatever. But if you're not ready to dig deep, and cycling hurts, it is a painful sport. If you're not ready for that, you're better off just calling it a day. As we had the day on Sunday as well, which was going to be more suited to me anyway.
It was flatter.
A bit flatter. I was like, you know what, let's just call it. So yeah, Saturday was a bit of a disaster. Although Alex in the team, I think he finished 23rd, which was really good, you know, for the level of race that we were at, you know, cracking result. Anyway, on to Sunday. So the access to the feed zone was a little bit easier. When
we found it.
Yeah. Anyway, so we didn't actually recce the whole course, but we did ride up and down past the feed zone. So I saw the truck parked up. Okay, I was like, right, okay, we can race today, no problem. But the problem is with this Sunday course was they let more people enter than they should have done. So there was actually like 200 entered, but it's meant to be capped at I think 160 or 180.
I thought it was 120 they usually have.
Or apparently other years there's been 120, but I think there was some racing in Belgium that got cancelled, and then obviously like our team has been invited over. I mean, there was a few teams from Belgium invited over anyway, so it was oversubscribed. It was like a bit of cobbled riding through the town centre, quite tight and technical, and then it was sort of fairly open the rest of the course. Well, no, and there was sort of single lane farm roads as well. But anyway, really, really good day overall. Was kind of in the main bunch the whole day, going with the race, which for this level of race was really, like, it was bloody hard, but was going with it all day, feeding when needed to, felt really good. There was a couple of little climbs, was going with the bunch, moving up, feeling pretty good. In fact, there was even one point, I think there was a breakaway up the road, but there was one point where I did actually attack off the front with a few guys. It was like, you know, really, really cool to be getting involved, and, you know, even in the end it wasn't a decisive move, but kind of trying to force things to happen in the race at this level is just, you know, I couldn't have even dreamed of this a year ago. But unfortunately, you probably will see my arm and my shoulder. On the last lap, came through the feed zone the final time. Obviously there wasn't feeding, but we came through.
Because it was a downhill on the way back, it was uphill on the
yes,
way. Yeah.
So anyway, we were sort of halfway around the last lap. And obviously, like I say, same sort of scenario. You've got 5-6 guys abreast across the road with the whole rest of. I think the breakaway got pulled back into it, so the whole race was back together. I was in, you know, somewhere in the middle of the bunch, and I was thinking to myself, right, we'll just move up a bit and you know, see what we can do. And then unfortunately, there was a coming together in front, and so even with modern bikes with disc brakes, when you're rolling along at sort of 45-50 k an hour and it just stops, there's nothing you can do. So obviously you're on the brakes, but I went over the handlebars. You might not be able to see. Oh, you can see, yeah. I used my face to take most of the blow. Obviously ripped my skin suit and shoulder, and then this arm is all road rashed as well. Road rash is the
wrist.
Oh yeah, my wrist is a bit cut and slightly swollen. I have been out today on my bike, and it slightly niggles over the bumps, so I'm not sure whether there's going to just keep an eye on it. But it's not painful to put weight on and move around and stuff. Yes, it was an unfortunate end to the day. I managed to get up and roll into the finish. Initially I thought that obviously my handlebars were all twisted, and my chain came off one of the jockey wheels, and I didn't realise until afterwards again, so it was running I was thinking, oh god, I've knackered the bike again, and I'm thinking, right, that's it.
It had weekly trips into the bike doctor at one point, because there was just various bits that weren't quite right. So
my poor bike, my poor Oro has certainly had a run of it. Anyway, managed to crawl over the line, which I was, you know, I just, like, mentally, for me, like, it was just like I've got this far, I'm literally 5k from the finish, nothing's broken, yes it's a bit sore, but I'm going to bloody make it to the finish, there's no way I'm not making it now.
Meanwhile, I'm obviously waiting for him, not aware that this has happened, so yeah. I'm like, where is Jack? He was fine when I last saw him. Yeah,
so obviously I went down, one of the other guys in the team came down in the same crash, and actually he's literally got a week-old bike, and the saddle got broken, so he couldn't finish. I got up, dusted myself off. Typical, I I don't know if anyone else can relate to this in a sporting sense, but the first thing I did was like, once I realised all my teeth were still in and I was okay, it's like, got my bike, like, right, the bars are twisted, get them straightened enough so I can ride, get the chain back on, right, where's my head unit? That had been broken, which I've now fixed today, but found that, got that in my back pocket and resumed it, made it to the finish. But yeah, just gutted that it finished in that way. But at the same time, probably a bit unrelatable, and Corinne probably thinks I'm a bit mad, but obviously I had my big crash 3 years ago and I had my couple of little falls in the team camp, but I've been quite lucky in racing to have no real incidents. I had some close calls, but nothing's actually happened. So in a weird way, it's actually good it's happened but hasn't been too serious, because it's actually helped me mentally process that unfortunately it is part of bike racing, it does happen.
But it shouldn't. It
shouldn't, and like this race was oversubscribed and there's parts on the course that were a bit sketchy with traffic islands that weren't marked very clearly. But I actually mentally feel actually better for it. I know it sounds really weird, but kind of now going through having a crash, but obviously my big crash I was, you know, unconscious and had a lot more serious injuries, but kind of having a light tumble and actually the bike is fine. I've straightened the bars and sorted the you know, the hoods were just a little bit out, sorted that out. I'm all patched up and nothing's broken, and we live to fight another day. I managed to get an hour out on the bike earlier. Everything's all good. You know, I can ride fine, so it won't affect training going forward. Yeah, so kind of a weekend of two halves, but also both days were a bit tragic, but it was still a really good experience from a riding point of view to ride in such a high level event. Whether we'll be going back next year or we'll choose to go back next year, I don't know.
I think not.
But it certainly hasn't put me off, and it's just kind of given me more motivation that, like I say, I'm running a couple of kilos heavy, and I've kind of just been riding since pretty much sort of August, September last year, and then training properly since December, where most people have an off season, so you have a week or two off the bike sort of in October, November. So I'm kind of looking forward to finishing the season and having a proper off season like everyone else who's ridden for longer, and then having a proper build into next year and seeing what I can do with all the experience.
And some long bike stuff.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah. So yeah, weekend of well, not really even two halves. It just a lot of issues and drama, but we are alive and everything's okay.
And both races were like, so Saturday was 16 laps, Sunday was 14 laps, very, very fast laps. So ironically, I actually took a book because I thought maybe I would have time to read my book, but as soon as you sort of like picked up the empty bottles, put them in the bottle cages, sat down, they were coming back through.
Yeah,
so it was really, really fast. Like I say, I was feeding 5 of them, hence why there's like no footage at all, because there's just not the time. That is not the priority. So it's just lobbing bottles. I did a little impressive one with Jack. He said, because basically one of Jack's teammates dropped out yesterday because he's not very well. So he joined me in the feed zone. So he thought it would be a better idea to he be water and I be carbs. But it was really hot yesterday. So Jack had already said to me, because it's warm, we're probably going to want more water than carbs. But obviously we wanted the option just in case. So I had the carbs, Dan had the water, and Jack went past and went water. I was like, no, it's carbs, you'll have to get water off of him. So then as the lap sort of progressed, I thought I'll have a couple of water as well, just in case, because obviously in this race it's not the end of the world if you miss a feed because they're so frequent, but I wanted to have the option for both. So I had carbs, but Jack wanted water, but I did have a water, and I managed to swiftly change. And I did the same on Saturday with your teammate as well.
It's very, and I obviously did some feeding Saturday, it's very exhilarating, and it's weird because you kind of think, oh, bikes aren't that quick, but when you're stood roadside and you've got all these guys coming past at like 45, 50 kilometres an hour, and you're trying to pass them something and make that contact, but it's so easy to slip, or you know, the amount of bottles that get dropped in the feed zone, you have to be wary when you're riding, you don't then ride over them and crash yourself.
And then we've got to try and retrieve them, you know, so that it doesn't cause an accident. It's very stressful. I need like a body cam to see my point of view.
It's a pretty wild, a wild thing. that Corinne's just been thrown into this year with no real training or anything. It was just like, oh, you're just going to go in the feed zone and do bottles, and not just at like small regional races, like, you know, the Sickle Classic and these races in France are pretty high level. So yeah, certainly stepped up to the mark. But yeah, I think lots of positives to take away from the weekend, a few negatives or a few challenges along the way, but that's
things
life.
as well that we would do differently if we were to do it again, for sure.
Yeah.
And as always, just things that we need to either take or remember or change with our little race setup as well. Oh, I think the battery might be low, so yeah. I think we've been talking for far too long. Thought I'd just delete that. Anyway, as I was saying, we're going to have a barbecue this afternoon. It's 10 to 4. I've literally cooked up some potatoes from the garden to have potato salad. Cooked up last beetroot as well. I've made a little salad. We're just going to have a really basic barbecue because we literally only decided like yesterday when we were in France that we would have one. So we've just got some sausages to have like hot dogs with, and we might do some chicken wrapped in bacon or just chicken or bacon, but we're not going to have any burgers because we don't have any. And again, just don't really want to go to the shop. So yeah, that's basically the update from us for now.